Hello everybody. Have you seen that in recent days a specific topic has took over the titles of news, internet forums, newspapers, and also social media? This topic is inflation. So there is a lot of households, entrepreneurs, publishers, stock brokers that they are speculating about inflation, how this high rate inflation that we are living right now is going to lead the US to a recession, that we are going to lose our jobs, and actually the economy is going to return back to 2008 levels. But why is that so? Why inflation is so feared by many? So my name is Daniel Rodriguez and I'm majoring on economics, and inflation is one of my favorite topics. So today I'm going to explain you what inflation is, how it's calculated, how inflation affects your lifestyle, and also we are going to discover that there are winners from this situation and there are losers from the situation. So first I'm going to start with inflation concept. So the inflation is basically the overall increase of prices of consumer goods and services that households buy in daily basis. Basically all those items that they need to survive. This can include rent, transportation, groceries, utility bills, Wi-Fi, and also clothing. Because you cannot go outside naked. You need to wear clothes. Basically a basic need. So how the inflation is calculated? So in charge of that is the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, and according to them the inflation rate of this year is gonna be 8.6%. So what that means? First, I'm going to explain you how that number is calculated. So the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, they collect data, they make surveys to households, to business owners, in order to keep track of changes of the prices. Once they collect that data, they create a table, what is called CPI. That is just only an abbreviation to Consumer Price Index. And once they have the table, it becomes a tool to calculate the inflation rate. So when the Bureau of Labor and Statistics says that there has been an increase of 8.6% on the inflation rate, it basically means that life has become 8.6% expensive than last year. So now we're gonna go to the second main point why inflation is so feared. Is because it reduces your purchasing power. To explain that, I'm gonna give you a really simple example. So just imagine that you go to the grocery store. Every single time that you go, you buy 20 items. This can include milk, orange juice, cereal. Just imagine all the items that you purchase every single time that you go. But there's a catch. You have a $100 budget and you want to stay inside that budget, but there has been a lot of inflation, so actually all the overall prices had increased, and you discover that to take the 20 items that you usually take home, you will have to spend $110, but you need to stay inside the budget. So you decide to remove one item in order to stay inside the $100. So what happened is that you just lost purchasing power because you were not able to purchase the 20 items with $100. You just did 19. So according to the textbook Macroeconomics for today, the more the inflation rate increases, the more your purchasing power decreases. And that causes uncertainty of the future because people try to protect themselves from inflation, so they decide to purchase today that prices are cheaper before the prices increase tomorrow, creating a spiral effect that actually make inflation worse. So now we're going to discuss who are the winners from this situation and who are the losers. It's really difficult to imagine that actually there are winners from this situation because it hears like it's a really bad situation. But actually there is. But before going to the winners, I'm gonna discuss the losers from the situation. And for that, I have this meme that it says it's actually nice having some money in the bank and it's gone. That is because one of the main effects of inflation is that it decreases the value of savings. So, as I said before, inflation decreases your purchasing power. So that means that you buy less with the same amount of money. This includes savings accounts. So if you have a retirement plan like a IRA, 401k, this means that you will have to save more money in order to have the right amount to retire when you become 65. So basically, inflation has a direct toll on savers. And also, the overall increase on prices might make you to withdraw money in order to deal with some expenses that actually have become expensive. So now we're gonna discuss the winners. And according to Investopedia website, in one of its articles that is called 10 Common Effects of Inflation, they explain that the winners from this situation are the borrowers. If you borrow money before that inflation period, let's say that you borrow a fixed rate mortgage, so that interest rate is gonna stay the same. But when there are high inflation rates, periods, there are negotiations, there are adjustments between the government, between the unions and businesses. They negotiate incomes in order to contrast inflation. So when that happens and you have an increase in your income, the interest rate for the loans are going to remain the same. So that means that it has become easier for you to pay the loan. So, in conclusion, inflation is a really fierce situation. It has consequences for everybody, and it might be from the situation, it might be losers from the situation, but it's gonna depend on your knowledge. So as you can see, inflation is a really interesting topic. It's not rocket science, and it's a really good topic to discuss with your friends and family.